Hello everybody and welcome to the first ever OSWA roundtable discussion. With me today is the former commissioner Clint Eller and
the color commentator.
Big
Joe, that's right.
So we got a great roundtable planned out for you. We're gonna get some discussions about some of the happenings going on in OSWA. Well, let's start with Clint. What do we got on the list right now? What do we have?
You know what? What I've been really want to talk about, and I think what the fans are approaching me about, is this whole Wasabi and Ninja King issue.
Oh yeah.
We got the Wasabi. His former friend has come in as the Ninja King and has just wiped his world out. He's having to run a gauntlet. Ninja King says, "I defeated you, and if you want me, you're going to have to run the gauntlet. You're going to have to do the test, pass the test if you want to get me." And the first test was 2 ninjas.
Yeah, not one, but 2 ninjas. Well, the funny thing about that, it kind of reminds me of that old Bruce Lee movie. Was it Game of Death?
Game of Death.
Game of Death. You got to climb the tower. I mean, kind of like Mortal Kombat too. Gosh, I'm such a nerd.
Yeah, you are. I'll tell you something, man. I think it's great too that the Ninja King is making Wasabi go through all these gauntlets and all these obstacles and everything. Because he has to prove to be worthy to be taken on the Ninja King.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but you're right, Joe.
I always am.
I think, as far as, you have 2 honorable competitors. You have Wasabi that's been with us since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
First match.
Very first match.
Former corporate champion, but yet I don't think he's really understood has ever been with someone as the likes of the Ninja King.
That's right.
And the 2 honorable people, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way,
of course not.
Making him run through the test. And will he make it? I mean, I think Wasabi said Heroes and Villains is when he wants his rematch with the Ninja King. Will you think he'll make it? We're still a month and a half out.
And the problem that Wasabi's got now is he's already been defeated by Shinobi. That's in his head.
Yeah.
And the next test coming up in 2 Saturdays is Shinobi again. Can he defeat Shinobi? Shinobi seems to be a little faster, and I think the fact that Wasabi's head's so messed up, I think it's gotten to him. He's going to have a hard obstacle getting past the fact that he's already been defeated.
I know. Yeah, you're right. As far as you got beat by Ninja King. I mean, whether some people say it was dirty. It's like the old salt in the eyes trick, and then he had to face Shinobi. He got a little heated, got off his game plan, and Shinobi beat him. And then, the gauntlet's been laid down. I think he barely got past those ninjas. So, is Shinobi the next test?
I would think Shinobi's the next test.
I would say so, absolutely. And here's the thing is that in order for Wasabi to take on the Ninja King, he not only has to be physically ready, but he also has to be mentally ready.
Yes.
And let's face it, Shinobi, he beat him physically, but he also beat him mentally. So Wasabi has to go in there and he has to prove that his mind, body, and spirit are all ready to go to have a worthy battle with the Ninja King.
Yeah, because the last match he faced 2 ninjas. First off, it threw him off that there were 2 ninjas because I think he expected only to face 1 ninja, and both of them come out, and it didn't look like they were really wanting to win the match. I think they were just trying to hurt him, and I think you could tell he was off. Wasabi was off because he squeaked out a win, yes, and he was able to move on, but it wasn't. You could kind of tell it really wasn't a decisive win. So
Yep, I'm excited to see that. Next out we have. Do you want to go to the big one?
Sure.
Let's go to the big one because I'm really excited. Let's go to the Ultimate title.
Oh yeah, the Ultimate title.
You got the Ultimate title champion, Chad Silva, the fighting man. He's been fighting everybody. He's been taking on all comers. Rod Bolt comes out. This was scheduled to be a main event. Rod Bolt comes out and says, "No, we're doing it right now." Chad Silva answers, and here comes the mix-up. You've got Alex Diamond Decker, who just defeated the sole survivor and is now the #1 contender, got involved in the match and possibly cost Rod Bolt that match against Chad Silva.
Yeah, I think Rod Bolt had it wrapped up, or it looked like Chad was in trouble until Alex came out. So did Alex come out to help Chad? Or did he come out because he doesn't want anybody else having the Ultimate title?
So now you've got both of these men calling themselves the #1 contender, and Chad Silva seems to be open to fighting either one that's put in front of him. It's going to be a weird, crazy dynamic. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where this goes. And Joe, you know Rod Bolt better than anybody.
Absolutely.
Here, what's going on? What's going on through his head right now?
Well, I'll tell you something though. Before I flew in from LA this morning, You know, I got a chance to talk to Rod Bolt last night in our neighborhood in Bel Air, and I'll tell you something, he's more than ready. And let's face it, he's part of the show. He's part of one of the greatest stables in the world of professional wrestling, let's face it. But here's another thing. We got Alex Diamond Decker in the mix now. I know Alex Diamond Decker, and I know how great he is. I know he's so good because I managed him. I only managed the best, everybody out there. And I flew in from LAX this morning just to talk about this. And I tell you something, I think that one of the best ways we can prove who's worthy of holding that championship is throw all of them in the mix and see who comes out on top.
Wow, that actually doesn't sound like a bad idea.
That's right, so I'll tell you something. There's a reason why they call me one of the greatest geniuses, one of the greatest minds in the world of professional wrestling. And let's face it, Bobby, I'm the one with the ideas.
Well, arguably.
Yeah, arguably so.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. Like I said, I'm on a roll today, Joe. Gosh, you've been right
again.
3-4 times now. Gosh.
I'm always on a roll. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I've been seeing those recaps. I've been watching all the recaps every time they get filmed. And
Yeah. You talk to my brother PK. He knows exactly how right I am all the time.
We'll have to get PK in here. But the show has been on a roll. I mean, Zach Daniels trying to get his contract back. Now that's the only one that's kind of is that. But Rob Bolt beat Jake, Falls County Interim match.
Yep.
Hollywood beat McFly in the TLC match to get the corporate title. And we'll talk about the corporate title here in a minute. But yeah, the show has been on a roll. So I fully expect, Rod. I believe Rod's his own favorite to.
I would say so.
To come out of this,
he was probably the strongest corporate champion we ever had. He lost that title in the corporate ladders match where there were 5 other competitors, and I think 6 ladders and a trampoline and a stool and other things involved.
They threw everything in there but the kitchen sink.
Exactly. And so I think he is the odds on. I think he had Silva in a bad position. I think that him and Alex are very similar, but I think he's in the OSWA. I just think he knows these guys a little better. He knows this ring, and I think he's on a run. I think he's the odds-on favorite to win this, especially if the commissioner decides to make this a 3-way.
Yeah, I think right now it is. Rod is is destined, if lack of a better term, to eventually get that ultimate title. But we really can't count out the champion. I mean, Chad has come out and pretty much he's the fighting champion. I mean, he's the guy. He don't care who it is. That's why he went ahead and took the match with Rod. Rod come out, and who answered the challenge? Chad Silva come out, and we're actually fixing to see that match here in just a minute. Because that's our featured matchup today. Yes. And we'll discuss that a little bit more. But Alex and Rod. I mean, 2 tough competitors. It's going to be difficult for Chad Silva to come out of this one.
He is.
And hold on to the title.
The only grace is that just like what happened in that tag team match, you get 2 bad guys beating on a good guy, and there's a lot on stake. Mm-hmm. They start arguing. No, let me pin him. No, let me pin him.
Yeah.
That's the only chance Chad Silva's gotten in this with those 2 guys.
I think that's what Chad needs to concentrate on too, is trying to pit them against each other. I mean,
exactly
right now he's only got a 33% chance if we put all 3 of them in that mix.
He's a physical guy, but it's a lot of numbers, Joe.
No champion's advantage.
Well, of course it's a lot of numbers, but I'll tell you something. I know Rod, I know Alex Diamond Decker. Those 2 are professionals. Granted, they want to win. I can understand that. But they know. I think what they're going to do is they're just going to pound the tar out of that champion, throw him out of the ring like the garbage he is, and then they're going to fight it out one against the other.
Well, if they're smart, that's what they would do.
Exactly. It's going to be a great match. I'll tell you something. All of our fans, while they're digging ditches throughout the week or driving their forklifts, they're going to be talking about this match all around the water cooler.
Oh yeah, and I think we'll get to the bottom of this because we're here discussing the 3-way match already. It's really not even. It's not set yet, but I think we'll be, this weekend, or no, actually the next weekend, the April 5th show, I believe. The April 5th show, we'll get to the bottom of, what the commissioner wants to do.
Yeah. But I think the fans, just like us, I think they want to see that 3-way. I want to see it. I want to just let the cream rise to the top.
Yeah, but we'll just have to see.
You are.
But right now, let's go to our featured matchup. Featuring the Ultimate Champion, Chad Silva, when he faced Rod Bolt back March 15th?
March 15th.
March 15th, O-Show. Rod Bolt, challenger, versus the Ultimate Champion, Chad Silva.
Get out of my face! himself that way, left himself open. So it just shows you the lack of confidence that Rod Bolt has. Then he has to, ooh, he misses, what a big miss. Then he's got to attack Chad Silva from behind him. There's his jacket on for crying out loud.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something, DK. This match is far from over, and you know as well as I do that Broad can come back from any beating.
And there's Rod now. He's like, oh, please don't beat on me anymore. Please don't beat on me anymore.
Yeah, beat it, kid.
Well, I was planning on saving this for a big main event tonight, but since these two are so eager to fight, I say we make this match happen right now. So ladies and gentlemen, this contest is set for one fall, and it's for the OSWA Ultimate Championship.
Excellent call there, Mr. Commissioner.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, you know what? You guys did a pretty good job there, Jeffrey. I just like giving you a raise. Let me tell you people something. It's free, and this is how it is in the OSWA. Second match of the Ultimate Championship. We don't warm up. We just dive right into the deep end and we start fighting.
Well, Joe, you and I interviewed Mr. Silva. Oh, look at this. His brother, Alex Diamond Decker, who's been basically feuding with him, comes out and makes one of what he's doing out here ringside.
Well, maybe he's turned around, and maybe he's turned his life right now, he's cheering on his brother. What a good guy.
Well, Joe, I can definitely understand what it's like for a younger brother to have older brother issues. So it makes you wonder if Rod Bolt is out here just to, get some kind of revenge or something.
Well, I don't think so. He's out here for his reason, okay? He's out here to maybe cheer on his brother, or just to see Lightning Rod Bolt, a member of the show, who just seem like the greatest wrestlers alive. That's Lightning Rod Bolt.
Well, Joe, in the corner over here, Rod Bolt used the ropes to make some damage onto Chad Silva's arm, and he's continuing to work at it.
I love it. There's your champion, people.
Hey, Joe, by the way, can I borrow your sunglasses? Because Rod Bolt is so white, the lights are flicking off him and blinding me.
Shut up, PK.
I brought a picture of his brother, Jared.
You're no bronze statue yourself, brother.
Thank you, Commissioner. Maybe now I can matches as blindly as Joe does now that I'm wearing dark sunglasses. Rod Bolt's definitely got the momentum in his favor in this match so far. Of course, he's used well, he's got our defending champion, Chad Silva, is making a comeback.
I'll tell you something, here's the reason why, brother. It's like the old song. Life is so bright.
Joe, your picture is so bright, you need a flashlight. You're doing a 2 count by Rod Bolt.
You know what I'm talking about. Let's get back to the match. These people don't care what you have to say. Hey, you just do your job.
Joe, he is just working. Rod Bolt's just working the left arm of Chad Silva. Man, you can see the look on his face going, that left arm is killing him. Look, these guys go to big Chad's really back reflexology. He gets something good.
Nobody wants to go there. Give me a break. I would go there.
Joe, I'm not a big fan of tattoos, but I would recommend Rod Bolt getting one to give it some color.
It's not funny to me, man. That's making fun of him because he's
melanin challenged. You're right.
whatever, people.
You can pay melanin later and find out what I'm talking about. Our poor champion, though, he is down in the middle of the ring. I'll tell you something. Rod Bolt has brought it to him better than I thought he would.
Everybody knows here. Oxford English. I know exactly everything.
Oswa, Homework English, you're correct. Ooh, he's in the corner.
Let's get back to the next game. There's like a smart remarks.
Look at this. Once again, using the ropes to further damage the arm of our ultimate champion.
A true champion taps into all their resources and includes the ropes.
I have to admit, this is a pretty good tactic on the part of Rod Bolt. Not a fan of his, don't get me wrong, but it's a good tactic. Because as the smaller wrestler, with less strength and muscle, he needs to try more to get an advantage. Oh, Chad Silva, a nice slam. He owned him and threw him down like a redheaded stepchild.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing redheaded millionaire people that's offensive.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Ooh, and a nice, look like a jawbreaker or a stunner by Rod Bolt. Unfortunately, security training makes a better door than a window. With all the ham sandwiches he's been eating, I can't quite see the match through him.
Will you stop that, PK? He's not eating ham sandwiches all the time. See, now you upset him. Good job. Oh, big swing and miss by the challenger. Chad Silva, he's a big guy, but he's very agile. He's looked very impressive. I'll give him that. We definitely know who the fans are playing here tonight. We got the point for our older champion, Chad Silva. And Joe, I'll tell you something, he was kind of an underdog to get the belt. But I have to say, he has won well since he's got it. These guys, you know, they're so exhausted, they're exchanging blows in the little ring. They're going toe-to-toe with the KI Club. This is what it's all about. Ooh, an Irish whip fitting for St. Patrick's Day. Ooh, a big swing and miss by our champ. Rod Bull coming out swinging. Lights on these stick figures out here. It's like I said, Rod Bull has more per pound than anybody in that locker room. But that's a good thing because he's pretty down on poundage. Oh, a huge splash. Into that unforgiving turnbuckle. Right against the turnbuckle. And Joe Rod Bull was just looking to spin. Look at him. The ropes are basically holding him up. That's what I was calling for the ref. Like justice he can do anything. He pulled the ref in front of him, Joe. Can you believe that? I'm going to dock his pay. I can't believe he says dock Rod Bull's pay. He pulled the ref in front of him when Silva was going for a drop kick. Swinging on his shoulder. Right swinging on over. Kick to the breadbasket. Well, hey, how's your mom doing? What's this? Oh, his brother, the younger brother with the issues, which I'm used to, is jumping in the ring. Our preacher Gentry outside, and security changing standing there like the limp eunuch that he is, isn't doing anything. Hey, Gentry, don't bother. That Brett can't even count the three. We're going to set him up with this. Gentry, oh! Chad Silva with the right by the top. Next, Alex Decker. Oh, Alex Decker with a diamond cutter. No, that's good. Price cut. The price cut by Chad Silva.
Table for March 27th, 2014. I mean, tell you what, that match was. What do you think about that match there, Joe?
Well, I'll tell you something. You know what? Lightning Rod had that. He had that match. He had that paper champion beat on the ring. 1, 2, 3, and it's just too bad that things didn't go the way that it should have happened.
What was up with the fact that when Chad Silva was getting his entrance and he was on the top rope, then Rod just decided to hit him from behind? I mean, those antics is that antics very becoming of a #1 contender for the Ultimate title?
No, I'll tell you something. It's becoming of a champion. Let me tell you, I say this all the time to all those ditch diggers out there in the audience. A champion, a true champion, taps into all his resources. Now, if that paper champion is so stupid to turn his back on his opponent, well, then he doesn't deserve to be champion anyway.
So you're saying he should have the eyes in the back of his head?
Absolutely. A champion has the eyes in the back of his head all the time. You always be prepared for the fight because you have a target on your back when you're the champion. But everybody knows that.
Just looked like he got pinned 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, though. I mean,
Well, you know what? That is not his fault.
That was Alex Diamond Decker's fault, right?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that things didn't happen the way that they should have. Alex Simon Decker, those guys, him and Lightning Rod Bull are they are two of the greatest wrestlers in the industry today, hands down. And I'll tell you something right now, it's just a shame that things didn't work out the way it should have.
That's right. I think, this is my theory on that match. I think that the paper champion, as he says, tapped into his resources and ducked out of the way of that fork to the eye, blinding Alex Decker, who then grabbed what he thought was Chad Silva, but was not. It was Lightning Rod Bolt. hits him with the big finisher. Bolt goes down. 1, 2, 3, Chad Silva. He tapped into it,
But I mean,
and he pulled it out.
And the record book is going to say Chad Silva defeats Rod Bolt. 1, 2,
That's
3.
right. No asterisks.
Yeah,
There's
well,
no
also-
asterisks in professional wrestling.
This story is far from over, and I'll tell you something right now. I'll tell you two right there. I'll tell all those ham and eggers out there. This is how it's done. The show or anybody associated with the show deserves to be champions because they are the best stable in the world of professional wrestling. And I'll tell you something right now. After all is said and done, Chad Silva will no longer be champion because, like I said before, he's just a paper champion. And I'll tell you something. After it's all said and done, it's going to be where it belongs.
Well, I will agree with you on one part of that. It's not over. I think it's just beginning. I think the people want a three-way. I'd like to see a three-way. Mix it up, see if the cream rises to the crop. But earlier you were talking about being chased. You know who's being chased around here? But they're buying their way out of it? Mr. Hollywood. Mr. Hollywood bought his corporate championship belt. Mr. Hollywood bought the #1 contendership twice, I think now. Just paid him off. How long can Mr. Hollywood go before he can't find somebody he can't buy out? How long before Curtis Coleman or Mystic Storm gets that #1 contendership and they don't want that money, they want that gold?
It's gonna happen eventually.
I'll tell you something right now. As the one who lives in the neighborhood with Mr. Hollywood there in Bel Air, I'll tell you all right now, he's got plenty of money for years upon years. He can buy whoever he wants. But, he's actually doing you a favor. He's preserving your wrestlers because he is such a dominant wrestler that he doesn't need to buy these guys out. He can just pin them 1, 2, 3. But, why not use a little cash if you already got a little
But
bit?
what about the two fans that come and watch Hollywood wrestle that gets cheated out of actually getting to see their hero wrestle?
They're not getting cheated. He's here. They're in his presence. What more do they want? And I'll tell you something, they're not here to see him wrestle.
Oh, okay.
They're just there, why do people go line the streets of Hollywood? To see the great stars fight one another? No, they just want to see them, be in their presence.
Good point.
Well,
That's right, good point.
Hopefully he's got enough money to buy off Mystic Storm or Curtis Coleman because the rumor is they're both coming for him. Now, let's talk about Zach Daniels. Zach Daniels lost his contract to the old man, Highlander Johnny Walker, a little over a year ago, right? Now he's back, he wants his contract, and now he's having issues with the new commissioner, and lost to Taco. Begged for Taco. Taco gets in his arrogance, after beating Taco pretty much unconscious, he turns his back, starts hassling with the commissioner, and gets rolled up 1, 2, 3. Still no contract. Mr. Popham, what do you think? What's it going to take?
I think everybody underestimates Taco. He's a former Ultimate Champion. But
right.
he's the underdog. But he beat Z. He beat the longest reigning champion yet in the OSWA.
He did.
He beat him. And he held on the Ultimate title for a little while. But, you can't take anything away from Zach Daniels. Zach Daniels is a competitor. He's a very seasoned wrestler. He knows what he's doing. I just think sometimes his arrogance gets just a little bit the best of him. But I think if he can get rid of that ego, then I think he'll probably have a contract sooner rather than later here in the OSWA.
I would have to agree.
Well, I know he will. And I'll tell you something, I think it's a darn shame that he doesn't have a contract with us because he's one of the greatest wrestlers to ever lace up boots and get into the squared circle.
But he was the one that agreed to that contract match where he ultimately lost the contract.
Well, you know what? There's a problem.
Ego.
Ego. Well, you gotta have an ego in the world of professional wrestling. You gotta think you're a winner. You gotta see yourself as a victor. And I know that Gentry has it out for him. But one of these days, I just might have to pull some of my own muscle around here and get Zach the contract he deserves.
I definitely think he's deserving of a contract if he can pull out a win. And but I tell you, if he shows up at Dollar Mania, which is coming up this Saturday, I think the commissioner's going to be tired of him. He snuck his way onto that flyer. I don't know who he paid off or who Hollywood paid off to get him on that flyer. But Commissioner Gentry says if he shows up and causes trouble, he's got a surprise for him. And I'm interested to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, I am too, because Dollar Manias are way off in left field.
Yep.
It will be interesting how he's going to deal with Zach.
That's right.
So
Now, we got one more thing to talk about, and I think this is an important thing. Z Williams and Vengeance. We know Vengeance now is here for Z Williams. He's here, as he says, to clean up the OSWA, right? So he's coming out. Jimmy Lee sells off his contract. Vengeance beats him up, leaves him in the ring. Lets the fans decide. Live or die, right?
Yeah.
Good guy or bad guy. But we know he's the guy that's after Z. He's caused Z so much turmoil mentally that Z came to the ring not completely compared, and Mystic Storm had a big win over Z. Really propels Mystic Storm up into the top echelon of this company. But what does that do for Z, and where does he go with this Vengeance? I'm really excited to see what happens when they meet.
Yeah, I think Z needs to. He's got Vengeance. Vengeance is on the brain right now, and he needs to focus on that right now rather than anything else. He needs to kind of get past this because Vengeance, like you said, is in his head. He kidnapped the Squires, got a Squire back, but is it just mind games? Because he's letting them go. It's almost like he was doing that just to get Z's attention. Now that he's got his attention, what's going to happen?
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Z is going to do what he does best. He's going to take care of that wannabe poor excuse for a vigilante, throw him down to the mat, pin him 1, 2, 3, and then just get rid of that guy. I can't believe, who was he to say, who was anybody to say that they're the law and the order? Nobody. I'll tell you who decides what law and order is around here. Me. And I'm going to take care of Vengeance if anybody else has to.
Well, I hope that Vengeance doesn't feel the same way about you, Joe. I'd hate for him to come out there and lay the law and order down on the announcer's table.
Yeah, don't you worry about it one bit, because I can take care of that guy, no sweat. Everybody knows it, and all you ditch diggers out there in America know it.
You do know that he's going to be watching this later, right?
Well, I'm just saying, I got business to take care of here. What are you talking about? I got to take I'm watching after the people.
Well, I'm interested to see what's going to happen when they finally meet up. Two big men, both of them with an agenda. I think we've got some new acquisitions coming. The rumor is there's some new wrestlers coming to the fold. I think there's some vignettes fixing to come out.
Yeah,
we've got
always
Dollar Mania.
Dollar Mania 5.
Boss, are you excited?
I'm excited. Dollar Mania 5. I'm telling you, a lot of surprises. Some of the stuff that usually happens at Dollar Mania will happen at Dollar Mania, but yet I think the fans will be definitely interested in seeing what we can come up with this Saturday. So as far as that, and of course our next show, April 5th, next O show. It's 2 more shows before our biggest show of the year, Heroes and Villains. It's starting to take shape. We got a lot of prospective things going on. We don't really have anything set, but.
I think they're taking shape.
Yeah, definitely taking shape. Definitely come together. So, you got anything there, Joe, to add?
Well, I just want to say it's going to be great. They have all these people out here to see me, to see these guns. And I'll tell you something right now, I am so glad I flew in 2 days early from LA. I'm going to be staying in one of the ritziest hotels there in downtown Atlanta. But you can believe me, I'll be here in a couple of days. Just to grace these fans with my presence.
Fantastic.
And I'll be there for Heroes and Villains too. Don't you forget that there, ditch diggers. I'll be here, so buy your tickets fast.
Sounds good. All right, this is Bobby Popham here with the OSW Roundtable for March 27, 2014. And we'll see you this Saturday at Dollar Mania.